All right, we'll go back to the
know.
Malik races time. We're at TTML for the final round of the
Yeah, but
season
I have 100
here
big
at
weights. I
Abu
don't know
Dhabi.
one.
So
That doesn't
we're going to
make
get into the
difference.
situation
I don't understand what
heading
you
into
say.
this race, but P5 in the standings is up for
We're in
grabs.
the city.
Joe,
So,
the suspension
That
is
I
makes
want to
no
do
sense.
as well as possible
You
here
can
and finish
pay
out
what's
really
the
strong. I
difference?
felt very
6,
confident I
9.
could actually do this as well because the form was good.
2-5.
I don't mind this track at all,
Okay, thank you.
and I'm
Oh,
good
well,
at avoiding penalties around here. So I thought all these
City,
teams
that's
kind of
what
would
works.
kind of go in my favour basically. So, excuse me, here's the setup.
Love you. See you later,
Nothing
guys.
too out of the
Good luck,
ordinary,
boys.
Bye,
I
bye,
suppose
bye.
you could say. The
Suck my
pressure
asshole.
was quite high to me in a sense, but
Balance.
in a sense I was able to deal with it really nicely. So like it's about executing when it matters, and I think I executed when it really mattered here. So first one in qualifying is going to be I think it's going to be good enough for a like P4, P6 or something. Anyways, there it is. It was a 35 or 33.7, I think it was. I can't read. It's too far away on my screen. But end of the session, we do find improvements. It was a decent lap, wasn't it? I could have gone a bit better, I suppose. But a bit of a wobble there, but we move up into 4th place. So we absolutely nailed it in qualifying. Did exactly what I needed to do. Everyone who I'm worried about kind of is behind in the standings is below. So here's the standings. We basically need to outscore Stevie G, David, and Otto Gear Nolan by a few points. Nothing massive, but enough. You know, it's only 5 points between myself and Stevie G. So I felt very confident that I could do this, and I qualified ahead of every single one of those guys as well. So I was feeling very good that we're in a really good spot here. There's your qualifying result. Anyways, my teammate Kieran Trapp there in 6th place, so good stuff from him as well. But looking really good. Steph and Funky Chicken, they were just in a class of their own. It was absolutely ridiculous. Although I did that lap from Steph, to be fair, there was a bit of slipstream assistance. So yeah, even still, just a crazy. I looked at the lap as well. Like it didn't look anything ridiculously quick. It was just, I don't know. It just look at your average lap, but it just happened to be flipping 32. So I don't know. Anyways, strategy then. I wanted to try the one stop because I've seen it in multiple races now used, particularly by Scuba, who made this work. And I have thought with no penalties, I could also make this work as well. So we're going to try and go to lap 9 or 10 or so, and then put the mediums on to the end. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, here we go then. 4th place on the grid, 5 red lights, final round of the season. And away we go. It's a good start. Nothing threatening in terms of going in front, but definitely nothing in terms of behind as well. So just going to follow the inside line here. Joker's trying the outside a bit. A decent run up the hill against Jane. I decided to back out of that though. Careful of the cars behind, and sadly a collision between Tom and my teammate sent my teammate into a wall and out of the race on lap 1, and a VSC is deployed. That was really unfortunate for him. Yeah, it was really tough. I think he just understeered basically into Tom, and that was really unfortunate. But anyways, kicking on then to the next part of this race. It's lap number 3, and man, I'm trying to manage my race here. A bit of a snappy moment there, but Tom and Langfeld were absolutely insistent on using every ounce of energy they had available to them on lap 3. I would have thought maybe perhaps Tom would have learned that, given his problem in Brazil. He could have been past me like 20 laps sooner, basically, had he actually choose to kept some energy. So I know his energy situation because my teammate is still in the lobby here. So, you know, I do know what he's actually got. So we managed to hold that off. I don't want to use his energy, but like I also don't want to lose a place. So, but he just insisted on using everything available to him. I was like, right, if you want to use your ERS by lap 3, be my guest. I'll happily wait and come back at you later. Like it's, you know, it's just about race management at that stage. Like I'm not going to spend all my resources by lap 3 just to defend the position. You know, there's just no point. So, you know, you got to play the long game. And Langfeld wants to do the same thing here. Now he was quite a bit away back, you can see, but he uses a lot of battery. I've got DRS now as well myself, so I saw him coming back from there. I was like, he's using all his battery at this stage. Like it was mad to me. They were very, very insistent on using all their energy. So lap number 5 again. I'm right behind Tom here. I'm happy to sit here basically and just manage my tires, manage my fuel, manage my ERS. Again, I got DRS, but Langfeld's using a lot of energy to try and come at me. So he's going to try and go down the inside here again, or not again, but it's just in general. And I'm going to hold around the outside. So. I'm not losing too much time here fighting this, which is fine, but I don't want to be losing places if I can't avoid it. But at the same time, I want to manage my race, so, you know, I have to make a decision eventually. And lap number 6, nothing really doing here. Again, nothing mad. Again, same kind of area of the track. He's got a lot closer run this time. So even though I got DRS, I tried to use a bit of it. I did try to defend it, but at a certain point I was like, nah, I can't commit to using this much. I didn't mean to squeeze him. I actually, looking at this now, did leave him the space on the inside though, to be fair. So if I squeezed him, I certainly gave the room back at that part of the corner. So I did think about going for a move here. I could have sent it. I've in the past I tried to overtake Richie Davey down here in F1 2017. It was a disaster then, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that again. So you back out of that one. That's not an overtaking spot at that part for me. When I was along the side there, safety car is deployed though, because Hiro Jokin's out of the race. Hiro Jokin was behind me, and yeah, he is now out of this race. So a very easy choice here for me to make. Obviously, same as everyone. Going to come into the pits, put on the medium tires, and everyone else, I'm fairly confident everyone else is going to stay out until the we're going to do a two-stop. I had planned to stay out until the end of this race. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at a very nice podium potentially here, because again, even though yes, those guys will obviously come back at me, I have high confidence that they're going to get penalties, and I know I'm not. So I knew that when I say I've got a podium, I speak with confidence that I think I had a podium in the bag right here and then. Was just waiting basically for the guys on mediums to pit. And then we're going to extend the tyres, keep them nice and fresh, use lean out of the corners, and we'll kind of go from there. So at this stage, I'm feeling very much in control. I feel this race is being managed very, very well, and that's all you can really ask for, really. And pace isn't too bad either. So anyways, lap number 9, safety car is coming in now. My God. So I'm not sure what happened at the front. I think it was David who restarted the race here. It's not really his fault, but whatever happens up here, Langfellow falls asleep here for a start because they're already gone. And then it turns out they're not gone. And then we're going again. So I don't know. Like Langfeld fell asleep, and then they weren't going again. So I don't know. It was really strange. But anyways, we're going to try and it's absolute carnage in front. Like look at all those cars. There's some on old mediums as well. So I'm just trying to sit here, and Oscar Nolan goes for a spin. He's out of the race. There's Martin Bell, there's Kiki, there's Langfeld, there's Tom. Langfeld's right there. Tom cuts across Kiki, which in turn causes Martin Bell to slow. And then I'm right behind him, and I get wing damage. So I feel slightly betrayed by Tom for swiping across into Kiki like that and causing that whole thing. So I'm pretty... Yeah, I'm not too happy. I'm trying to focus and manage my race, but my race is heavily compromised. Now, hindsight kicks in at some point, but we'll get into that a little bit later. We're going to try to go down the inside here at Martin Bell. And I don't know if he's got damage. I don't know if Kiki's got damage. We're going to try and make it work. I honestly thought I drove really well in this race from this point forward. I thought the pace, despite the wing damage, was really strong, and I didn't give up I didn't give up on this race. I fought with everything I had. Lap 11, I'm still keeping with these guys. I'm still keeping with Kiki. I'm still keeping with Stevie G. Bad run there for Kiki, and back out of that. That's not going to work around there. So I explored it. It would have been under no obligation to give me too much space out there, really. So, yeah. But, yeah, I wasn't sure what to do at this stage. I was hoping for a safety car, really, because the safety car would obviously solve my problems, really. But, there's my first warning, by the way. I had to lift off the throttle to get up to turn 3. I ended up cutting too much of the track, basically. So, we're going to stick on board with this. Basically, I need something to happen by lap 20 or so. Lap 20 is basically when you would basically pit for softs to go to the end of the race, essentially. So, at the moment, I just have to suffer this pain now, and then maybe later, who knows what might happen. But we're going to go for a move on Kiki here. He goes defensive. I'm going to go stick to the outside here on the racing line. Use a bit of the track here on the outside as well. You can do that. I don't want to use 4 tires, obviously, but we get through. And a decent run off that corner there is going to give us a good chance to keep this position as well. So, move up a place. Again, I feel like I'm driving really well here. I don't know if Steve's got damage in front, but he's 1.6 seconds ahead. I end up catching him and getting in his DRS. You can see he's right there. And David's right there too. So, again, the pace is really strong here, I think, despite the damage. I thought, not to toot my own horn, but I honestly thought I managed this really well. And just trying to keep some sort of composure. Sean behind was about 2 seconds behind, but he does have a full front wing. So there are some guys who are going to be picking up the pieces. Lap 18, so a lot of these guys now are coming into the pits, basically to pit for their last stint, basically. And I decided to try and stick it out. I thought, if a safety car comes out, I'm in a good spot, and we can do something about it. But I decided I made a decision here and then to try and stick it out rather than pit for a set of softs. I just thought the damage, the time I'd lose with the wing change would put me out of position, and I thought perhaps the chance of a safety car coming out or something, would maybe eventually come back to me. But like, obviously you're gambling on a safety car, which isn't a guarantee by any means. Sean goes through there, but again, we're going to fight for everything we can basically, because that's all we have now at this stage. This is for P4, and Langfell and Tom have got to pit yet in front, so you can see they're 10-11 seconds up the road, and I really believe I should be up there. I was right behind them when this started. They both have penalties now. That's where I feel I should be. So anyway, Steph pits from the lead of the race. He's going to merge right in front of us here, which actually works out fine. I'll use his DRS. Janne behind pitted for hards on the safety car, so now they're coming towards him. At this point, my mediums are beginning to drop off. They're dropping off. I had to work these mediums harder anyways because I've got wing damage. I have to use more rotation and all this kind of thing. I'm working the tires more than what you would with a normal front wing. But at this stage, they're really beginning to suffer. But I'm just trying to stick it out, hoping for a safety car. Because even if I pitched a lap ago, see all those cars on that map down there, I come behind all of those. So this is the justification for me in the moment, as I hit Janne there, a bit of desync there, I think, as well. But I didn't mean to hit him, obviously. That was my justification at the time, in the moment, to try and stick it out. But yeah, it just with Tom and Langfell came pretty quickly because they had 10-second leads. So obviously they came and went pretty quickly. Funky Chicken, same story as well. So I think Langfell's actually already gone, to be fair. So
on the straight.
Yeah, this was tough. This was tough to sit at this part of the race and just watch all these cars go by. But I felt at the time, a safety car would have, from lap 12 basically onwards, I waited for a safety car and nothing ever happened. So difficult. I think if I had pitched for softs, who knows where I may have finished. I don't really know, because it's hard to say, because again, it's a lot of time to spend with the wing as well, and I was hoping maybe the penalty situation would come in my favour as well. I have none. A lot of these people coming behind, they do have penalties now. So but the tyres and the wing, it was just too much in the end. So here comes old school, and Stevie G, I'll let Stevie G go, to be fair. I chose not to fight that too much. It's basically this point in the race where I accepted my fate, right? Like, the safety car isn't coming out, and we're just going to be slipping backwards and backwards now. So anyway, Stevie G was the one I wanted to beat, obviously, today, and he goes through into ahead of me there. So that basically ended the fifth battle for fifth in the standings there. And then I let Chicken go into turn one. Again, there's some guys I'm not willing to fight, others I am. It's just, I was a bit disillusioned at this point in the race, obviously, because I'm just reflecting on I'm thinking more so of Tom and Langfell, and I'm like, I should be right there with them. That was my thinking, like, I should be right there with them. So yeah, difficult one to there are some races where it's like, you can, there's tough races and you're like, it is what it is. Like, I had a race yesterday. I'm recording this nearly a week later after this has happened. Not that I haven't got over it, but I just haven't been bothered to do it, because I had a race yesterday in FTRL around Belgium, and it was a pretty shocking race, to be honest. Wet weather and the such, and I finished P12, I think, or 13 or something. It wasn't very good, but I instantly got over that, because that's what happened. I'm not too upset about that, but this, I'm able to deal with that better. But this race was a tougher one to deal with, because one of the things that really irks me is driving under the safety car and the kind of reactions after that, and what happens after safety cars and that kind of thing. So I don't know. It was a chain reaction when Tom came across Key. I saw Martin Bell's POV. That's how I know Tom came across Key, and then Martin Bell's not really at fault. He's just trying to stop and avoid wing damage himself. I'm not sure if he did in the end. And it's just a chain reaction. There's nothing we can do about it. You can't report it, really. The only person that would have had a valid, report there would have been Kiki himself. But
Stevie G.
Anyways, lap 28. Here we go. Then we got swamped by everyone basically, and that was how it happened. So a disappointing end to a really good season. I did miss the first three races. Had I had the first three races, I would have felt fairly confident I would have actually finished fifth. Yeah, disappointing one in the end. It's going to be I think it's P10 after P10 or 11 after penalties were applied and that kind of thing afterwards. So yeah, disappointing one to end. Tom and Langfell got jumped by Janne then for P3, I think on pens. I see Tom up there and I think, I should have been there today, but That's what happens. We'll have to move on and get ready for next season, because next season should be very interesting indeed. But we can talk about more about next season in coming videos, I suppose. There is the final standings in the end. It's P8 on 114 points. Langfeld just ahead there. David ahead of that, and Stevie G ahead of that as well. So I could tell you, well, I can kind of talk about next season now. Old School, F1 AMG, Steph, Funky Chicken, they're all moving up to Div 2, which means the guys I'm looking at in terms of, I could be fighting for wins next season. It could be a possibility. We could be fighting Stevie G, David, Langfeld, Tom, Simply Superman. We could be fighting. Oh, Ultra Gear Nolan also went up to Div 2, and I'm glad about that, because he really pissed me off after this race. So, yeah. So if you're a Div 2 driver, I'd like you to beat him if you can. Just for me, if you could, that'd be great. So we've got a real chance to actually re-compete for some wins next year. I don't want to go too far in terms of titles. I felt very mad after this race on Thursday, and I put in my head, right, I'm going for the title next year. Like, fuck them all. Honestly, I'm going for this title next season, and we're gonna go fuck everybody mode, basically. Because I was really pissed off because Auto Gear Nolan decided he'd start shit, unprompted too. Well, not unprompted. I was mad myself after the race, but then he needlessly got involved when he didn't need to get involved and told me to go fuck myself, basically. So I was like, no, fuck you. And I'm going for the title next season. So yeah. And then he said he was too good. He effectively said he was too good for Div 2 or for Div 3, and he finished below me in the standings there. So yeah, great job. I really hope that works out well for you. So I don't really get too petty like that, but that situation really pissed me off after the race. So yeah, I feel strongly about that. And those who know me know I don't really hold grudges, but that really pissed me off. So we're gonna hope to go for. I'm aiming for at least one race win next season. It's a short event. It's a short calendar, just 10 races, I believe. We're going to try and go for one win at least, and then we'll see what happens in terms of titles. I don't like to get too far ahead of myself, but yeah, I don't want to say I'm expecting to win a title. I'm not, but I'm hoping to win at least one race. That's the target I'm setting myself. So we'll see how that gets on. But yeah, thanks very much for watching this season of TTML in Division 3. We're going to go back at it again next season and try and improve on our finishing position, which was 8th, I believe. So yeah, that's how we're going to go for it. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and until next time.